have been looking for a full-size family SUV to purchase and you just bombarded with information and you cannot decide, well, I think you've come to the right place because this is the expert buyer's guide for the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia, which is a brand new full-size SUV from the company, and it's all new. In this video, I'm gonna go through the configurator and I will show you basically most configurations, most options. I'm gonna try to focus on the simple things to help you decide which brand new Sequoia you might be interested in. I'm also gonna compare it to the class bestseller, which is a Chevy Tahoe. That's gonna be a little bit later in the video. And I'm also gonna tell you how you can be involved in TFL Studios videos coming up. So let's get started right away. This truck, I know this is a car channel, but it is technically a truck-based SUV. So we figured since you're shopping for SUVs, you might be interested in this as well. But it is based on the Toyota Tundra. And it's a little bit shorter than the pickup truck, of course, but it's still a proper three-row SUV that can tow a heck of a lot. In fact, if you choose the SR5 base model Sequoia two-wheel drive, you will be able to tow up to 9,520 pounds. Yeah, this is almost class leading. The Tahoe can tow somewhere in the 8,400 pound range. And of course, the new Jeep Grand Wagoneer can tow about 10,000 pounds. So 9,500 pounds from the Sequoia is really near class leading, and really, it's really capable. I have towed with one of these before. I had a chance to tow a couple of different trailers, a camping trailer and also a boat. And I can tell you it can be very stable and very competent. And let me merge on this little highway. This is full throttle from a dead stop. That's 45, that's 55, and that's 60. This hybrid is just really powerful, really nice and smooth. The shifts are almost imperceptible. I don't know if you noticed them. I mean, you can kind of hear it. Let's go over the powertrain as I'm showing you here. They call it iForce Max. Basically what this means is a hybrid. It's a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6, and it's made it to this big transmission, which has an electric motor inside of it. It's a 10-speed transmission, and the electric motor helps out. And of course, you can have two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive options. The two-wheel drive Sequoia SR5, which is a base model, starts at $58,300. And of course, you could add or subtract different options. I can show you those in a second. And four-wheel drive system costs about $3,000. The power is pretty spectacular. It's basically class-leading power for an SUV. With one exception I'll tell you about a little bit later. 437 horsepower from this hybrid powertrain and 583 pound-feet of torque. It's pretty monstrous power. Very, very smooth. TFL has owned a Tundra, a brand new Tundra. And I can tell you, that wasn't a hybrid, but I can tell you this V6, the new one, is already a very powerful engine, and now it's combined with electricity, of course. Every Sequoia will come as a hybrid. So I wanted to show you what's possible a little bit on a budget. So I wanted to build an SR5, and actually I'm going to stay with a two-wheel drive. So not everybody prefers or wants a four-wheel drive, especially maybe if you're living in a warmer climate and you're mostly commuting, and you don't need four-wheel drive. You can save $3,000, which would be pretty nice. I'll show you all the colors available. I'm actually logged in with a Colorado zip code. So some of the options and colors may be specific to Colorado. So when you're actually shopping around for it and building your own on the configurator, some of the things may vary slightly. But here's what it looks like. And I think it's already pretty attractive. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Just comes with pretty simple wheels. I think the styling is pretty attractive, especially from the back. It looks just very macho in my opinion. And in the front, it looks a lot like the Tundra, but I think it's actually maybe looking a little bit better than the Tundra with its kind of different bumper and a different grille surround that it has. But The Supersonic Red is actually $425. So I'm not going to use that. I'm going to select a different color. For example, I really like the Lunar Rock color. So let me select this, and let me see if I can get you some images of that. It's not showing up, of course. So let me show you the Army Green color, which I think is another very cool one. So let me show you a couple of images of what this one looks like. And actually, in the sunlight, I really like this. We've also had other trucks like the Tacoma in this color, and I think it's quite attractive, and you don't have to pay extra for it. On the interior, I often like cloth interiors on base vehicles. So I'm going to select cloth in this case. It's called Boulder Fabric, kind of like Boulder, Colorado, I guess. So let me show you some of the images of the interior and also what's available here, because this is not a large screen. They also have on the upper models, like I'll show you, a 14-inch display in the center. This is a smaller one, so this is kind of a more budget-oriented configuration. This is what the cloth seats look like. 3 rows. We'll talk about some of the 3-row seating in a second. You can kind of see how you're able to fold the seats. So what Sequoia is doing actually, it's a solid rear axle, so it's really, really trucky. Of course, it has coil springs in the rear, so it's pretty comfortable. But because of that rear axle and also the battery, because it's a hybrid, it has a nickel metal hydride battery, which Toyota has been using on many, many vehicles going back into its Prius days. For them, it's been really reliable, kind of low cost, slightly lower cost option with a lot of supply. This is according to Toyota. So because of that, you don't have quite enough headroom, or at least for me, at almost 6'3" in the 3rd row seat. So the 3rd row seat is more for maybe smaller adults and children, not necessarily full-size, really, really tall people. So they just have to keep that in mind because of the way the rear suspension is designed. But if you keep some of the options at bay, for example, one I'll show you here is the heated leather steering wheel, which is only $150. So I would definitely get that. If you don't get like the Trd Sport package, which is kind of a slightly lowered stance for the Sequoia, or if you don't get any premium packages, if you don't care about towing as much, you can, for example, like this image is showing a towing mirror, but of course it costs extra. You can set it up with towing, but with no towing mirrors as well, and that will work for some trailers, especially if they're narrow or like a boat. That would work quite well. So if you don't select a lot of these options, like I was saying, you can keep the price under 60 grand. So when you look at the summary, your total price is $59,945, and this is almost a bare bones Sequoia, but it still has that hybrid powertrain. So you got to remember, you have all the torque, all the horsepower, and of course 3-row capability for this vehicle, and still tows a lot. So that's kind of where it starts. But now I wanted to show you maybe a model that I would choose myself especially for Colorado type, winter and summer conditions, kind of all-around vehicle. You can also see here the fuel efficiency numbers are the ones you see on the screen are for the 2-wheel drive model, 24 on the highway. If you choose 4x4, it'll be 22 on the highway for MPGs. But I would pick the Limited. So the Limited gives you a little bit more options. Of course, it's more pricey. It starts at $64,700. And the Tundra we owned for 5 or 6 months, was a Limited model Tundra, which means it's kind of mid-grade, middle of the road, and also already includes a lot of technology, a lot of features, and so they give you a lot of standard equipment. I would choose 4-wheel drive. In Colorado, you really need 4-wheel drive, especially in the winter months. So like I said, it's $3,000 more. Now the price is already spiking, but I'll show you how it compares to the Tahoe in just a couple of minutes. And another option I would choose, and I'll explain why, Another option I would choose, and let's see if this matches, if I can choose my Lunar Rock color. I think it's a really attractive one. You're getting different wheels. Almost looks like a beadlock capable design, but of course it's not in this case, at least not for limited. And then you get the badge and the D pillar on the side in the back that says TRD Off-Road. And that's the package I would choose. I would get a limited Sequoia if this was me, with a TRD Off-Road package. Why? Well, I'll show you right now. So let me just pick, I like a little bit more color differentiation on the interior. So I usually pick the bolder, some of the grayer colors, so there's some contrast here. And the Limited also offers you that big 14-inch display in the latest infotainment system. And of course, you're already getting a digital instrument cluster actually across the board in the Sequoia. So you still have a really big center console that we've shown you in many, many videos, and a lot of technology, including driver assistance technologies as well. And this is showing a regular mirror, not a towing mirror. But for packages, I would go in here and I would choose the TRD Off-Road package, which is in this case only $470 for a limited Sequoia. And what it gives you Bilstein shocks, special suspension tuning, also selectable rear locking differentials. So you have a lot of capability, and Bilstein shocks on this SUV are actually, in my opinion at least, just super comfortable and also capable for some slower off-road terrains. So not super high speed off-roading, like fast gravel roads or something like that. You would maybe select a Trd Pro for that. But this one is really nice. And right here, $69,665. Whoa. So by going to the Limited, you're getting better technology, or at least bigger screens inside, more options. You can also get, as part of that, heated seats. You can also opt for ventilated seats. And actually, the options are really plentiful. You can see here, there are 21 optional packages. Not all of them combined together. For example, panoramic roof may not be combined with TRD off-road package for some reason. I don't know why, but you can combine off-road package with towing mirrors. You can get JBL premium audio. That's another $900. So just depending on your taste, you can add some more upscale features like the audio system, like I just mentioned, and several different options, and then combine them here. So it just depends on what you like. And JBL premium versus not premium stereo system, I can't quite tell you exactly how they differ. I haven't been able to properly test all the stereos that they offer. But in my experience, at least with most manufacturers, the standard base stereo system is just good enough for most people. If you're an audiophile and you love that sound, that's when you need to step up, obviously, to the stereo system. But you're adding almost 10 grand now from the base machine. Now, I also want to show you, before we move on, the Platinum is really a more luxurious version of the Sequoia. I can show you briefly. And you get some different exterior trim. I'll show you here in the colors. You get different exterior trim, you get a little bit more chrome, different wheels, a lot more tech, of course, like ventilated seats, different leather materials on the inside, Softex, Toyota calls it. Heads-up display is available, so power running boards, different rear air suspension, which is basically a load leveling suspension, especially really nice for towing or carrying heavier loads with cargo. Always stays level, but it's a premium feature, at least for this Sequoia package. And then finally, Trd Pro is their top dog off-road trim. Why would you buy a Trd Pro? Well, if you want all the technology, all the luxury features, and also special suspension, it wraps it all into one. And let me just show you some of the options. Only comes as a 4x4, and basically comes as one price. It's a smidge wider due to the wheel offset and just how it's designed. and it has unique styling. So if you want that aggressive style, special forged wheels, slightly taller tires, a little bit more ground clearance, different front bumper, the skid plates, all of that for protection, side steps also with a little bit of protection for off-road, and a roof rack. If you want all those things, if you're doing some camping adventures, going a little bit off the beaten path, and also want to do some fast gravel road running, I would recommend the Pro, just because the Fox suspension, it's not Bilstein, remember, it's now Fox. It's just set up a little bit more towards that faster off-road running, and also everyday driving too. It's super comfortable. I've had the pleasure of driving one of these Trd Pro models, and it's a great combination of on-road and off-road performance, everything. The wheelbase in the Sequoia is about 22 to 23 inches shorter than the Tundra Crew Cab short bed. So it has the breakover angle that may be a little bit superior to the Tundra. I also have the benefit of a locking rear differential. Here we go. And now, with the rear locker, I can just easily, nice and easy, cruise through this, show off a little bit of balancing on two wheels, and continue along my way. Of course, you can also get rear camera mirror, many other features, and special interior trim too. For example, that 12 o'clock marker on the steering wheel, as you can see here. Here's how the rest of it looks. So, and then the very top dog, Sequoia, is the capstone. It's rolling on 22s. So this market is reaching ever higher. And now Sequoia is also answering that market movement. And for a four-wheel drive capstone Sequoia, which is their top, almost Lexus quality interior. I mean, you're getting everything in this Sequoia. Let me choose this white color, Windchill Pearl, and show you a couple of images. Once again, unique exterior, chrome touches, like I said, 22-inch wheels. It's really not for me, but if you love luxury, it's hard to go wrong. And it's still many thousands, maybe $20,000 or $25,000 less than the Lexus LX, the new one. So if you don't want the Lexus badge, you still want luxury, you still want to be comfortable, you still want that hybrid powertrain, you can get the Sequoia capstone. And as you can see, you're pushing closer to 80 grand. So I promised a couple of things to you. I promised to let you know how you can be involved with TFL. We want to publish more owner reviews. So if you have your own experience with a brand new vehicle that you purchased within the last year or two, or recently, maybe within the last couple of weeks or months, if you have a story to tell, maybe a trip you took, as long as you can provide us between like 8 and 10 pictures of your vehicle in a nice setting, maybe on a road trip, and tell us about your experience, you can send it to us at info@tflcar.com. And if it's a truck, you could send it to ask@tfltruck.com. Those are our two email aliases that we constantly monitor. And if we can review it, and if it matches some of our formatting, we can publish it on our website. So you can be involved. Your review of your car or truck can be published on our websites. And you can check it out at alltfl.com. Everything in one-stop shop right there. And then the Chevrolet Tahoe is really the segment leader and has been for many years, if not decades. Chevrolet Tahoe has been in control of the segment. Now, of course, the Sequoia wants to get a larger piece of this pie. It's been fully redesigned now, and it's now going to be built in San Antonio, Texas, alongside the Tundra. So Toyota will have more capability and the capacity to build more Sequoias. They really want to fight against the Tahoe. The Tahoe has a lower starting price. Really, the Tahoe LS for 2022 model starts at around $53,695, as you can see on my screen. That's with a 5.3-liter V8 and a 10-speed automatic, which is actually pretty good, really good powertrain choice from GM. That's a two-wheel drive model. Four-wheel drive adds several grand, also about $3,000. So that's 56. So Chevrolet already has a lower starting price, but it's not a hybrid. So Sequoia chose to only stick with that hybrid. But I wanted to show you something because those prices on Sequoias were pretty high. What if you wanted a high country, which is a high-end Chevy Tahoe with a big 6.2 liter V8, and you wanted to add a few options to it? So let me try this. Cherry red tint coat Chevy Tahoe color. As you can see, that also looks pretty nice. Chevrolet, of course, went to independent rear suspension, so there's a little bit more space as far as headroom in the third row. And the price for this puppy with a couple of packages, for example, let me select this High Country Deluxe package from Chevrolet. And my price went up to $82,895. So these SUVs are getting super pricey, and I was showing you a capstone Sequoia at $78,000. So the Sequoia is priced competitively. It doesn't have quite that low starting price, but over time, Toyota is really a stickler for durability, dependability, reliability. So you can bet they built that Sequoia to those high standards. So it's just your preference. Would you like that Toyota name? Or maybe you can save some money and go with something like a Chevy Tahoe. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully this resolves some of the confusion, and you can see now all the options and colors and choices that are available across the line for the new Sequoia. I'm pretty excited. I want to test more of these. We already asked Toyota to send us some more Sequoias here to Colorado for our testing, for both off-road and towing tests, like the Ike Gauntlet World's Toughest Towing Test. And as always, alltfl.com is where you can find everything automotive in one place. And thanks for joining me.